I think this year for preseason, we've been really good at focusing on the little things in practice. We've been working really hard on our everydays to make sure that they're clean, and they've actually looked really good this year. We've been able to get outside a couple times in the past 2 weeks, which has been nice, so the outfield can actually get some fly balls versus in the Spoko. Overall, our pitchers have been working hard. We've been throwing live more recently, which is nice in the sense of getting to face some live batters.
It's gone really well so far. I think the girls' attitudes have been tremendous. They haven't got bored of the field house, the Spoko, yet, and now we're off to Florida this week. So the attitudes just couldn't have been better both in the fall and since we returned in January.
Having one freshman last year to coming in and having 8 was a very big jump. So we gained a lot of personality and a lot of girls learning what it's like to be a college athlete. So I think we've developed new ways of having buddies, so we pair upperclassmen with underclassmen and kind of getting the feel of what this season is going to hold, the idea of working with them to build a lot of team bonding. We've been really focusing on that just because we want to feel like a family since we have such a bigger roster.
The larger staff allows us a little bit more opportunities than we had last year. We had some injuries last year, then some issues. But pitching was strong for us last year. I expect it to be stronger this year. We have 3 freshman pitchers that are on the roster that are coming along nicely.
This year, our pitching staff has 7 pitchers on it, which is a big difference from only having 4 last year. It'll be really nice to have the support of so many different pitchers with so many different abilities and talents, and I think we all complement each other really nice. We have a lot of girls who are really good at change-ups, and we have really good spin pitchers this year, so I think those are really complementary, and we've been able to have more strikeouts and more ground outs and pop flies this year just because we're all able to kind of switch it up, which keeps the hitters off balance, which is really good.
I like our pitching. Our defense is doing really well. We're deep at every position, and I feel real comfortable with that. Hitting is going to be the key for us this year. I think we're going to be able to keep runners off base in low-scoring games. We're just going to need to produce more runs than we did last year, and hopefully we've brought in some people that can help us with that.
Well, obviously with 10 years of experience, they have that backing behind them to know what it takes to take them to postseason. Both coaches have already been to postseason, so they kind of know what it takes to get there, but for our team specifically, they've really taken the time to look into each individual player's kind of needs and talents.
Our pitching coach, Daniel Ritchie, has really helped us focus on mindfulness this year and being able to focus more on the mental side of the game. That's really been helpful for us as a staff as a whole. Taking that extra, 3 to 5 minutes before we go into a pitching workout or before we go live to really figure out what works for us to help us get into that good mental headspace before we actually are able to pitch.
We have Christine helping us, kind of taking on the mindfulness when it comes to hitting. So putting ourselves in pressured situations and taking every swing seriously and kind of thinking that mental approach, okay, what's the purpose of this swing? And having a little bit of a motive behind each swing instead of going into the cage and taking 100 swings and exhausting ourselves. So every hitting drill has a purpose.
Christine, she used to play here. She came in and kind of worked with us on working on thought downloads and breaking down what we think we can work on, things that focusing on strengths, because sometimes I think we just focus on our weaknesses, and we've been trying to incorporate that through not just hitting or not just pitching or not just fielding, but everything combined. And I think by doing live situations and working on when we do live situations, instead of if you got a hit, it's more of a did you have a quality at bat.
Looking to Florida to play on some dirt and get us ready for the season when we come north here. We do have 7, I think, out of 12 regional games, which will be important to us, and hopefully we can. I've scheduled those towards the end of the week, the latter half, so hopefully we'll be in better shape to play those regional games in Florida, and then hopefully come back up here in pretty good shape to face the NE10.
The main goal for Florida is to come back kind of with all the puzzle pieces put together to know where certain people fit where, and so that all of our players, that we all feel comfortable being in game situations and knowing that we could put 9 out on the field and know that they'll be able to perform.
That's my goal this year. I think that we are going to be on the bubble again for playoffs this year. It's always so competitive. I mean, it comes down to the last week, it seems, every year, and whoever's hot at the time. But my goal is to make the NE10 playoffs this year. I think this team can do it, and they worked hard enough, so hopefully we can keep working that hard.
Me personally, not being in a playoff in the couple years I've been here, I think it's a little bit more motivating. I think this year I can see a little bit more hunger in everyone to push, and we've been through a lot of different things as a whole and as a team, not just individually. And I think being more of a family, we're going to push through, and I think we might surprise a couple people just because there's a lot of different little aspects we've put in and a little bit more heart, I think, this year overall.